Hi there, my name is Dave Broadfoot. This is my lovely wife, Cindy. We have 3 children.
And 3 children in love.
And we have 5 grandchildren.
We've been married for 46 glorious years.
Whoa! And I really hope that somebody will grasp hold of the goodness of God in our life and allow that to work in your life too as well. But I'll start by telling you that in 97, we had 2 Hallmark stores in Edmonton. I think I was beating myself up a little bit more than what I should have, but I was not doing what God was called me to do. I was crying at the kitchen table and I asked God, I said, God, I'd really like to move back to Winnipeg. And the answer I got in my heart was, okay. So I went with that and I phoned Cindy at the cottage. I said, you know how I've been, and was not happy with the situation where I was in. But I said to Cindy, I asked God if I could move back to Winnipeg. He said, okay, and that's all I got. She came up with a decision because my faith level was down here. And she said, okay, I can agree to go to Winnipeg, but if this is from God, do not advertise our stores for sale and believe that somebody will come and buy our stores. And I said, oh gosh, I guess we're not moving. And that's about where my faith was. 30 days to the day that she told me that, a lady came into my store and she said, we'd like to buy your stores. That still brings me to tears because it was just such a sign from God, right there.
Yeah, brought me to tears too.
We sold our stores. We got in touch with Second Cup, which we opened up at River and Osborne. Everything was packed up in the house and it was not sold. And I remember the day we left with 1 suitcase each. And now my kids are looking at me and crying, saying, Dad, we don't even have a place to live there. Why are we moving there? And so I said, because I know I heard from God. And that's all I can tell you. I can't tell you anything else. So we moved there. We were working 12 and 15-hour days trying to get the Second Cup going. And I ran into Willard Thiessen from It's a New Day. So he asked me, where are you staying? I said, well, we're staying with Dave and Louise. He said, well, come and stay with us. We're going away. So all of us packed up our stuff and went and stayed with Willard and Betty Thiessen. And we were looking for places to stay. It was totally amazing. We could not find a place that was a furnished place because we didn't have any furniture, nothing, just clothes. And so I saw this ad come in the paper. So I immediately ran to the phone this lady, and she said, hello. She's very French. And I feel that way myself. And so we went and looked at it. Now you just have to get your head around what God is doing here. I went and looked at this place with Cindy and I said, I'd love to have this place. I said, we're a family of 5 when we looked at it. We're Christians. We love God with all our heart. And she started to laugh a little bit and she said, I just phoned It's a New Day for prayer that God would send believers over for our house. And I said, well, we're not just believers. We're staying with Willard and Betty Thiessen from It's a New Day. Oh, it was incredible. We were at our church. I saw this family come in. They had just left the colony and they were in an apartment. The pastor started walking off the platform and all of a sudden he turned around, came back up and he says, you know what? I really think God wants to do something. I looked over at this family there to the mother and father and I said, I'd like to do something for them because I'd want somebody to do something for my mom and dad. And I said, God, what can I do for them? And he's put in my heart, immediately give them a bedroom suite. And I said, pardon me? I couldn't even believe that. I said, oh, what? Because I had an apartment block and I was just putting brand new furniture in some of the suites to furnish them. And I was taking out older furniture. I said, yeah, I got an older one. He says, no, I want you to give him a new one. I said, whoa, I would never have thought of that in my life. So after the service was over, Cindy and I went over to them and we introduced ourselves. And I said, you know what? While we were over there, God told me to give you something. And he said, oh, what's that? Just like that. And I'm going, well, man, if this doesn't come out the way I'm thinking, he'll punch my face in. So I said, you know what? I said, God told me to give you a bedroom suite. Well, his wife sits down and starts to cry. I said, why is she crying? And he said to me, we have been out of the colony for 6 weeks now, and we've been sleeping on the floor. Come on, people, come on. Come on. And we gave them the bedroom suite and was very instrumental in getting their place that they bought for a home. It was beyond what I could ever even think God moving on us. Then they ended up being our mom and dad here.
You can never outgive God. How He always blesses you back. Not that you're giving just to get money. You're giving out of a heart of gratitude and love for God. But he always gives back to you, whether it's in friendships, whether it's whatever way, He always looks after us.
Big
right?
time.
Yeah.
I was in the hospital. I had brain surgery, and it was a real surprise to me, and it was benign. But I had to wait in there because I started getting seizures. And so my time in there was gone on longer than what I anticipated. My surgeon said, I'll have you cutting lawn in a couple of weeks, and it was a couple of years. So it was long, hard time. But I was in there, and I said, what am I going to do? Lay in a bed? So that's when I got up and started walking the halls, and she was right next door to me, and the mother was sitting in the corner. And I went up to her and I said, how come you're here? She told me that her daughter, Janelle, had broken her back in about 8 or 9 places. And I said, okay, would you mind if I pray for her? And her mom says, I'd like that.
Nobody will say no to prayer in the hospital.
Nobody.
Pretty much, no.
So then I went over there and I took her hand and I said, Janelle, do you know Jesus? And she said, I do. I said, no, do you know Him? Are you born again? Do you love Jesus? And she said, yes. And I said, well, I'm going to pray for you, and we're going to believe that God will move mightily on you. Mightily. And I said, are you ready? And she said, yes. And I said, pardon me? I said it 3 times until finally she almost yelled it at me. I said, now we're talking. I just said, God, this is one of your children. We ask that every bone, every single vein, everything in her back, in her body would line up with your word. And we declare wholeness over her body. And we declare all the good things that you have for us and life into this body. And you know what, God? We're not begging you. We're just asking you. And that's what I said to her. We cried a bit together. So I went back. Her mom came into my room the next morning, I think 7:15 after. She said, Dave, Janelle got up and went to the bathroom by herself. She just got out of the thing and went to the bathroom. I go, seriously? To tell you the truth, she was up and down the hallways for the next week. And she was supposed to be in rehab for 9 months, and they sent her home. That's the goodness of God.
Yeah.
I can't tell you anything better than the goodness of God. That really blessed us.
It's amazing how when you get your eyes off yourself and onto other people and helping others, how things fall into place,
yes.
Right? And your problems become really small.
Absolutely. 100%. It's not about us. It's not about us. It's about other people, and where can we be a blessing in their life? How can we help them to know what God's done in our life? Because He's been absolutely amazing in our life.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it's a story after story after story. I could sit here for hours and tell you the things that God's done in our life that I know it was Him and not us. Know it.